Hey guys, I've noticed when doing one-on-one and Skype lessons that playing through the 12 bars and just talking about the different areas that I'm touching on is so effective, especially seeing what my student is maybe lacking, or what kind of dynamic or what kind of phrasing they're missing. So I'm gonna start doing videos where I just play through a bunch of 12 bars and talk about why my approach is a certain way. So what's up guys, I wanna do a blues lesson. Now the biggest thing that we see is people wanting to add more and more notes because the core of their soloing and their phrasing is not there, and their dynamic is also not there. So I'm gonna play a couple rounds, I'm gonna talk through it. The first thing that I'm really gonna focus on is going to be note choice and phrasing. Now I'm not using a pick, so I can't speed pick through any of this. All right, and I'm only gonna be using 3 notes, 10th fret and 8th fret on my first string, and then 10th fret on my second string. So I'm in A, so I have my A pentatonic, and here I just slide up to second position, 10th fret, 8th fret, and then 10th fret on my second string. Now, that 8 is going to be a tension note. So I'm gonna play a phrase, and when I end on that, it's gonna build tension, and then when I leave space, it's gonna give like a need to resolve it back to this 10, all right? So watch for those phrases and how they're happening. The other thing I'm gonna also focus on for the first few rounds is going to be bends. I'm gonna be doing my attitude bend, my inflection bend, where I cut that tension note off before the pitch really gets anywhere. And another really cool thing is going to be bending up, cutting it off, and then bending down, right? Kind of has a really cool like harmonica feel to it. So I'm gonna talk a little bit through it as I'm playing, so let's do it. Tension. And then just let it sit. Build that tension. And then hold. Resolve after that bar line. That builds tension even on the resolution lick, okay? Something different for the 5 chord. Maybe repeat. Now I'm gonna start doing volume. So if I do, right, that adds another dimension to all of this. Still focusing on what note I'm ending each phrase on. Held out notes work, and then repeating. Right, another dynamic. Long notes, shorter repeating notes. Now let's talk about repetition. If I do something like this, that in itself is gonna build tension as I'm repeating the same thing over and over, but listen, I'm getting off the rhythm. That's like a really cool thing, is like kind of playing that phrasing over and over, and then actually adjusting the volume. And back to. And maybe a little run. Those are cool. Volume. Volume and repetition in there. And then just one long note maybe for the 5 chord. And that was that up a half step real quick. that bend was up a half step, because that's my blues note right there that I'm not quite hitting. So I have, right, if you listen, right, so that 11 is actually my blues note. So I bend half a step, cut it off, half a step back down, and then, right? So these are just some simple principles. Now I was trying to play on either side of the spectrum. What ends up happening is when you have something like volume, so we got loud, we got soft, right? We can play with that, and then that's very linear. So then what happens to add more dimension is we train on being able to navigate on loud and soft. Then we do fast or repetitious, whatever it is, fast, and then longer notes, all right? And then kind of like behind the beat, right on the beat. So when I was doing, so that behind the beat stuff works really well, you know, especially in blues. If I were to do, that's right on the beat. And then, right, so then that behind the beat, or right on it, adds a whole new element. So we're training kind of linear, right? So we have like these two dynamics, these two dynamics, these two dynamics. We train linear, and then we're able to put the whole thing together. So I wanted to show you guys how to make a guitar solo interesting and only needing 3 notes. Now, if you take these principles and move them all over the pentatonic, and in that case, all over the guitar neck, you're gonna have an insanely awesome blues solo. So there's so many things that we can do here. Let me just do a quick, right at the end, I'm gonna try to blend all of the concepts that we did together in one 12 bar. I did add a rake there. Even just in that, sorry, I keep cutting this off because I want to give you guys as much information as I possibly can. If you have a repeating riff like that, you know, if you start it a little bit earlier and hold it out a little bit longer, it's just gonna add so much more dimension to your solos. I'm gonna wrap this up now because this video could easily go along for like another half an hour. If you guys want, I'm gonna cut down the prices of Skype lessons. Mainly, I keep doing these videos, and really I like sitting with somebody else who's improvising over a 12 bar and trying to touch on some of the dynamics that they're missing or some of the concepts that they're overusing, okay? And that's why I like to break it down to only 3 notes. With some of my students, I break it down to clapping. With some of my shred students, you know, these guys can rip like any Joe Satriani lick, and they still don't understand the concept of rhythmic phrasing, which is fine. That's just not in their wheelhouse, and they want to get better at it. That's why I like breaking it down to smaller note groups and then taking that throughout the net. So I like to see, you know, what people's weaknesses are, what they're relying too much on, you know, and what they're completely missing as far as the dynamic is concerned, and getting into it. So if you guys do want, the Skype lessons are super, super, super affordable for you guys. If not, I want you to tell me after you watch this video what you're having an issue with, and I will try to dive into it. These improvisational videos right now are something that I'm going to be pushing a lot more. So thank you guys. I'll probably have another one for tomorrow. Thanks.